Welcome to the Catapult Effect podcast. I'm Katie Wrigley, neuroscience coach and entrepreneur. This podcast is for high-performing leaders who look capable on the outside, but know the pressure of carrying too much alone. Each week, we explore the internal and external systems that create real ease, from nervous system regulation to delegation and smarter support. If you're ready to build in a way that feels steady and sustainable, you're in the right place. Welcome back to the Catapult Effect podcast. Today, we are talking websites, SEOs, and how you can utilize yours to make your life easier. Jennifer DeMarco is joining me here today. She is a WordPress web designer and SEO strategist, and she helps service-based business owners turn their websites into something that brings in consistent leads so they're not relying on referrals or wondering why nothing's working. This is such a great topic to help create more ease in the life of the entrepreneur. So welcome to the Catapult Effect, Jennifer. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. We've got your dog and my cat, and we've got the whole crew here. So it's very exciting to be here. Thank you.
Oh, yes. So you can hear my dog in the background?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. She's just going to be part of the podcast today. Life happens, right?
That's fine. No, my cat literally was already scratching on stuff. As soon as you started talking, I was like, that's perfect. It's great timing. So we'll roll with it.
Well, that's one of the good things that came out of COVID is I think all of us are just a little bit more human, and there's more room to be human now because now people understand like working from home, not necessarily always the easiest thing. There's things, people who are demanding your attention.
All the time. That's
Yes.
totally fine. Yeah.
Yes. The struggle is real. So I'd love to say, what got you into the work that you're doing today, Jennifer? Like helping people with their websites and then diving into the SEO part of things.
So I actually started, I went to college for marketing and ended up going to teaching, which was like the worst decision for me. But what that did was one, obviously I realized that wasn't my jam and I moved back into marketing. And so I actually was an admissions counselor for a private college and doing marketing with a company out in California who worked with like the Paul Mitchell School websites. And so it gave me a great opportunity to just kind of like learn how to take my teaching skills to break things down in terms of marketing that like the normal entrepreneur can understand because there's just so many topics, right? So as the years went on, I ended up having my son and I wanted to stay home with him. So I started my company. And at first I was like, I'm going to help all these people figure out how to run their business and do all this marketing. And like, I very quickly realized I just really loved building the websites. Like there was just something about it that like spoke to me. And so that became like where I kind of niched down and focused in the websites. And I'm now 14 years deep in my business. And over the years, I've watched trends change and I've worked with hundreds of different people and I've seen all these horror stories. And so like my whole business was based around helping the small entrepreneur understand what they need to be doing, why they need to do it, and helping them do it. And then that morphed into the search engine optimization side and the messaging side. So when I look at websites now, it's not just, oh, we just put something together. It's the layout, the psychology of it, the messaging so that it converts better. So it's been like an evolving process to get here, but I'm loving what I do all now. So it's been a blessing.
That is awesome. And congratulations on being in business for 14 years. That is no small feat to be doing that. So kudos to you. I want to go back to something that you said within that, Jennifer, and that is the psychology of the site. So this is something that we don't necessarily always hear psychology called out directly in marketing. And in your 14 years of experience, how important is it that people understand the psychology in general, or more specifically, the psychology that their ideal client is working off of?
So, back when I first started with building websites, I would just take whatever the client gave me, put it on a website, built it out, called it done. And now, like, we've just seen so much growth over the years. Yeah. And you have to think about like the trends that come up. So, right now, as we're recording this, there are people who are talking on social media about that we're in a trust recession. Everything's in a trust recession, right? And so everything is so heavily dependent on like AI. And we're just so fearful of other people right now that we want those trust indicators in our website, right? So the psychology has evolved over the years with the economy and everything else that happens. So it's actually really important to kind of stay on top of what are those psychological indicators, right? And so at one point, I remember I used to tell my clients, I was like, your story is super important. Let's highlight that. People want to like know a little bit about you. And like I've now kind of stepped away from that. And we now are making it much more about your ideal client versus yourself. And so the very first thing I want every website to show right now is who you help, how you help them, and how, and why you help them, right? So
Mhm.
when the person gets there, they need to see like this is speaking to me and it's not about you. Like I want to know how you're helping me. And that's so the psychology, it evolves and it changes. And the other thing is, some people know the phrase CTA, some people don't, and it's just a call to action. And it's the if your website does not have a button telling you what to do as the next step in the appropriate places, people get frustrated. They don't want to look around for that. They're not trying to look for your contact page. And, we want to make it as simple and friction free as possible. And so that's where like the psychology comes in. And I know that got kind of technical in there, but it's important to understand that like there's reason we do these things and it
Yeah.
helps you convert better, right?
Yes, 100%. And I did want to tap on that because that psychology is, in my experience, it's really important, especially if you're doing something that no one's heard of, like I am. It's
Right.
very important to be in the mind of the person that you want to help because if they don't know you're talking to them, they're never going to reach out to you.
Right. They're going to go to the next person. 100%. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we do not want to do. So I want to go a little bit more deeply into what is exactly SEO. And I think probably
Okay.
the listener knows we're talking about search engine optimization, but some people think that they're optimizing SEO, but they may not be. So can you
Yeah.
explain like what a lot of people are doing around SEO and the difference between that and actually optimizing it?
Of course. Yeah. So, search engine optimization, if you do just a basic Google search, you're going to get a list that says you need keywords, you need H1 title tags, you need your metadata. And that's kind of the baseline that people know. And after that, like I've had people come to me and they're like, I know that's what it means, but I don't know what to do with that. Right. And
Right.
that's where the magic actually happens. So I love to use some tools that will go through somebody's website and I'll look for like what's working in their SEO and what's not. And then we optimize those pieces. So when I look at it, I think there's kind of two sides to SEO. There's the technical side. So your heading structures, which some people understand, some people don't. I think of it as like a table of contents in a book. It's
Mm.
literally how the book is organized of your page. And
Yep.
that is what heading structure is. So that to me is more the technical side of things. And we need to have some keyword research because if we are using keywords that nobody is searching, nobody is coming to your website still. And so that
Mm.
doesn't. So your heading structure and the technical side is one piece. The other side is what's on the page itself. And from that perspective, we always get told, just blog and it'll be fine. But if you're blogging about the wrong things, it's actually hurting your SEO. So if you, let's say, we'll use you as an example. So you do cognitive movement, right?
Yep.
Well, you were writing a blog on your website talking about your animals. Google doesn't understand what your animals have to do with cognitive movement. And so it doesn't
Right.
know to show you for cognitive movement, right?
Yeah.
We have to be very intentional in what we are blogging about. And so that is more of the like forward facing side of the SEO strategy
Mhm.
that people I think kind of miss the mark on because we just generally get told just blog, but like there's a strategy that goes behind it. It's the keywords, it's what are people researching, what are people asking, what questions do they need to know or to like have answered to know they want to work with you. Those are the things we blog about. So every time I work with a new SEO person, we always start with fixing technical and then we go to like the forward facing stuff and we build from there. So and outside of that, I'd say it's consistency. Consistent blogging and like making the edits and the changes versus I did stuff 1 month and I did nothing again.
Mhm.
Google's like, okay, why should I show you if you're not going to be consistent? So
Ah,
there's kind of multiple stages happening here.
right.
They can get super technical and they can stay kind of surface level. And I just think the information that we typically see is the surface level answer.
Okay, that makes sense. Going back to that blog example, because I want to really bring it home for the listener, it's like, oh crap. So, like, you focus on marketing, right? So, if you wrote a blog about going on vacation, that's not going to make sense. But if you talk about having your marketing continue to bring in leads and potentially
Mhm.
convert to sales while on vacation, now that's something that's going to help your web presence, correct?
Exactly. Yep. You
Okay.
nailed it.
Nice. Yeah, and that is really important distinction there because we want to make sure that everything is kind of coming to the same topic over and over again with consistency. And
Yep.
then so does Google take into account social media or is that completely separate? Or if like does it have to be tied into your website to count towards SEO or like how would the social media piece tap into that?
So they do now specifically look at like Instagram now comes up
Mhm.
in Google results. YouTube has for years, Reddit, things like that. So I think it kind of depends on which platform you're on whether it's going to show up in the results. I don't look at social media as it's tied to your website through Google. I look at marketing as a whole, as like your website is the base of a tree. It's the
Mhm.
trunk. So it's where the bulk of the information is. And then the branches are your social media,
Yeah.
ChatGPT now, right? Any of those places. And so we use those social media outlets to reach more people. And then in your bio, you would put your website and they would go back to your website to get more information, right? So they're going back to the trunk of the tree. So I don't think of it as the website pushing out to social media, but it's the social media bringing into to the website, if that makes
Gotcha.
sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And would it also have the same rules as blogging that we want to still be tying it back to the central theme? Like, so let's say someone's got a business Facebook page and a personal Facebook page,
Mhm.
like any posts on either, they still want to have in alignment with what they're actually talking about business wise.
I mean, more so the business pages, I'd say, than the personal ones. I mean, the personal ones are meant to be your personal life, right?
Right.
But the business, 100%. And one of the things that I see is that when I'm writing blogs, even for my clients, I always look at like what I'm writing for them and I'm like, man, this would be great for social media posts, right? The
Mhm.
content, the topics can get spliced into different types of content. So whether it's a blog, it goes on a YouTube, it goes on an Instagram, wherever, right? But the topics are all the same because people are asking the same questions regardless of where they're from. They always have those same underlying questions. When they lay their head down at night, what are they thinking about and what can we answer for them in our
Oh,
content?
ooh, yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you. That is a very important, like, yes,
Right.
yes.
I mean,
Didn't
let's
think
be
about as they're
real.
going to bed.
Like nobody went on Instagram and was like, I just can't wait for somebody to answer for me how much it costs to get a website made. Like that's
Right.
not what they're going to Instagram for. However, when they go to bed at night, they're like, man, my website is horrible. I hate it. I would love to redo it, but it's just going to cost so much money. Right. Okay. So answer that in your content. Write a blog about how much your services cost, make some social content about it. And let's be real, when we're doing social media, it's repetitive. We have to keep saying the same thing because not everybody's going to see it every time. It's not going to click the first time. But then we have our website to back that information up, right? Frequently asked questions are great for AI in our website. And so when somebody comes to your website and they're like, I really want to do cognitive movement, but I don't know this, this, and this. If you answer those questions in the service page about cognitive movement, they have one less step or one less piece of friction before buying, right?
Right.
By the time they've called you, now they're like, oh, I already know this answer. I'm ready to like move forward. So again, there's multiple layers here. There's different strategies that we can put in place, but we all got to start somewhere.
Yes. Yes. So, to the person who's listening, who they've got a website, they love the way it looks, they love the copy, they feel really resonant with it, but it's not bringing in any leads. What would you suggest to that person, Jennifer?
First thing I would look at is that structural SEO stuff. So there are actually plugins or there's Chrome extensions that can tell you like what your H1's structure is. And that's where I always start. I know we can go, and I just wrote a blog about this today, actually. I know we can like go to ChatGPT or a Claude or whoever and be like, can you audit my website? But like, it doesn't have all the information it needs to give you an accurate analysis, especially for
Right.
SEO. So I like to use these tools that can quickly look in and go, what is your H1, H2, H3? And then what I find a lot of times is that people will hire a web designer. It comes out beautiful, but the web designer didn't understand the structure of SEO. And so what they
Mhm.
do is they'll use like an H1 to make a bigger font. But now when you look in the coding, which is what Google and your AIs are looking at, it's looking at it going, oh, so you just told me that the most important thing on your page is the word connect with us, right? Or I saw one page who their heading structure was on the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. What does that do for Google? How does Google know what you're giving or what you're doing if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's, again, it goes back to like there's the like aesthetics and the like layout and the psychology from the front end, but like there's a back end side we have to stay on top of too. So I always start with what is happening in the coding itself, what is happening on the front end messaging, because if one builds traffic, one converts, right? And so it all has to work together.
Yeah, that makes sense. When is a good time for someone to stop trying to DIY their website and reach out to you, a pro who knows both the SEO and the website design side?
So I think we have two answers to this question, because I think there is a cost of trying to DIY at the beginning of your business that hurts you long term.
Mhm.
So I would prefer if people said, I'm really going to find the money to invest in having a really good SEO focused web design created at the beginning. That's usually not what happens. We're
No.
all trying to bootstrap our life together. I
Yep.
did it. A ton of my clients have done it, right? I've worked with hundreds of startups, and every single one of them, a friend of a friend made it. My assistant made it. I tried to do it. And every time they're like, I'm embarrassed to send it out. It's not converting, right? And they're like, I don't know what to do. And so then we essentially start over. So instead of having to start over, that's why I'm like, at the beginning is great. Now, if you were past the beginning point, then I'd say start with an audit. Start with looking at, and you can do it with me, you can do it yourself. It doesn't really matter, but like start with an audit of the website. Is the messaging really clear on who you serve, how you help them, and why you're the best person to help them? Do you have H1 structures in there? If you don't know what that means, please find me or somebody who does know what that means and like find out what needs to happen, right? Because sometimes we can salvage a website and we can just make some tweaks. Other times we have to start all the way over from scratch. It just really depends on where things are at. So honestly, I would say search engine optimization as a whole, like the topic as a whole, it takes a minimum of 3 months to get any traction. So waiting another 6 months is not going to help you. Starting today is your best bet for like starting to get momentum and getting new traffic in your site and getting the website to convert. So if you are not getting conversions from your website and you're not getting traffic, today's a great day to start.
That's good. That's good. It's really important to know that there's going to be a lag time because a lot of people stand up their site and it's like field of dreams. Like, I built it. Where are
Where are the
they?
people?
Like, yep. Give 90 days for them to find your field. Like,
Minimum. It can
minimum.
take 6 to 12 months.
Oh my
depending.
gosh.
Yeah. So, which is why it's better not to wait. If you're going to invest in search engine optimization, especially, it's better not to wait. I honestly didn't even do my search engine optimization till recently. And so now I'm like, oh, it's like pulling teeth,
Yeah.
trying to like revamp everything if I had just put in the effort before, right? But that's
Yes.
part of my evolution, right? I didn't know the SEO. And then I was like, this all makes sense now. And it clicked. And I was like, okay, great. And like, I've seen great results for some clients. And, but now it's like trying to do my own is hard because I'm so busy serving my clients. And
Yeah.
I think that's important too, is there's a point where every business owner is like so busy trying to like do stuff for their clients and give them great service that they don't have time to do their own things. So
Yep.
DIYing is no longer a valid option. Like the only way to grow your business at that point is to start outsourcing the things. Like I finally outsourced having a bookkeeper because I was like, I can't keep doing this.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
driving me batty.
Yes. The who, not how mentality, which for the listener out there, it's Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan book. Go grab it. Who, not how. It goes directly into what Jennifer is talking about. What would you say is some of the other mistakes that business owners are making that is adding to the level of stress and the level of complexity that you can shed some light into of like, hey, if you're doing this, maybe it's time for this instead.
I don't know. I feel like I hit on a few of them.
Yep. Staying on topic, not just posting to
Mhm.
post and making sure it's all about the same thing, blogging on the same thing, hiring other people to help when things get overwhelmed. So if we've already covered them, great. But that word just kind of stuck out to me, although I turned it into the word destruction for whatever reason. So I wanted to touch on it
Um,
again and make sure that we had covered that since, this show is all about, both internal systems to make the life easier and external things. And one of the easiest ways to bring in leads is a website that converts.
yeah. Um, well, a website that converts only converts if there are people coming to it, right? We have to drive the traffic from
Yes.
some direction, right? Social media, SEO, wherever. I don't particularly
Right.
care. I just want you to get traffic and to get business. I really truly am under the belief of like anything that is working for your business, keep doing, right?
Mhm.
And then it's a matter of can we add to that strategy to do better. So I think probably one of the mistakes in there, and I think I kind of touched on this was like when you discontinue doing the work, right? And
Mm.
I can even speak for myself. I hired an Instagram coach and I was like, I'm going to do the things. And I spent all this time like doing the lessons. And then I just would drop the ball because I don't enjoy it. I truly just don't enjoy the social media side. And so it becomes the last thing I'm going to do in my day and it falls off the plate, right? We can only hold so much. And so that goes back to the knowing when it's time to hire somebody to help with things. So I think one of the mistakes is not continuing when you've got something that you know is working, right? Same thing with the blogging. Like once you start the blogging, you have to keep the blogging in the same, cadence that you were doing it. If you can only do one a month, do one a month. If you can do two a month, do two a month, right? We don't
Yeah.
need 5 a week. Okay. One a
Yeah.
week is great. 2 a month, perfect. If that's all you can do. But I think consistency is super important no matter what you're doing when it comes to marketing.
Good. Yeah. And I love that you pointed that out. And so one of the things that I've been looking at, so this question's for me and also for anybody else who's in a similar position. I have some blogs that are locked and ready to go, but there's other things that are higher priorities. And that's, you just kind of hit the nail on the head of my delay is I want to make sure that I've got enough blogs already in the tank, ready to go. So
Mhm.
then, because the best blogs I write are when I'm just struck with creativity and I never know when that's going to hit. But I'm just like, oh, I need to write about this. And then I'll go write about this. But with the book about to come out, like that's a higher priority for
Yeah.
writing and the editing and everything that's part of that. So, like, if someone wants to stand up a blog page, kind of a two-part question. Like, one,
Mhm.
like, how many blogs should you start with, or can you just start with one? And are there any other sites that you would recommend for that visibility on top of the website to help really enhance the SEO through any blogging that they're doing?
So I think when you're starting out, one is great. From an
Okay.
aesthetics standpoint, I've always tried to start people's website with 3, but in 3, like if you do one a week, you're going to have it's going to be there's going to be 3 in 3 weeks. Like I'm not going to stress over that, right? So consistency is great. I aim right now to do one blog per week. And so they go
Mhm.
out on the same day. And I just make it a priority on my Mondays. I spend 1 hour and I write my blog for the week. But I also kind of batched it. Honestly, I did the research up front. And so I have a list of currently like 20 blogs that I'm going to write. So every week I don't have to come up with a new topic. The topics are there. I just need to get the content together and then put it out. And it literally takes me about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how extra I get that week with like adding pictures and stuff, right? So you can start with one, and that's totally fine. Just be consistent with whatever cadence there is. In terms of other sites, you can always, once you start writing the blogs, you can always link to it on like a LinkedIn or a Facebook or any of those.
Mhm.
But I really think that more of the traffic is going to come from people going to a ChatGPT, a Google, or wherever, and they're going to type in that question that you've already answered for that week, and they're going to find you that way before you're going to get more people finding you through a Facebook or a LinkedIn type of post that links back to your blog. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so for people who like Substack is a really popular site. So
Mhm.
that would be like a good place to have a presence versus
Mhm.
Facebook where that same link may get buried or doesn't have the same popularity because not everybody on Facebook is really interested in blogging, but yet if you're on Substack, you know that you're there to read some stuff if you're on Substack. And I think
Yeah.
Medium is kind of the same.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So like Substack is designed to have those sort of articles, right? So I think those are great. I personally don't use them again. I'm looking for like the people to organically find me. If
Mhm.
I were going to layer in an additional piece for me, I would actually look at Reddit I would
Mm.
create an account in Reddit. And instead of plugging my blogs, what I would do is go answer other people's questions, and I would have my profile be my company name. So
Love
that way, if they're like, "Oh, I really like that answer," they go find you that way, right?
I'm picking up what you're laying down, girl. I'm like, note to self, go into my Reddit account, change my name. Got it.
Right. I mean, they don't like when you start putting like, "Go check out this," like, we don't wanna do self-promotion that way, but we
Right.
want to, like, make ourselves publicly seen as an
Yeah.
expert in that topic.
Yes. Yes. And that's the pushing something. That's what my mentor, Liz Larson, calls being aggressively helpful when like you're giving advice and no one asks for it. Like
Right.
it's very off putting. And
Yeah.
like people on LinkedIn are famous for this. Our mutual friend Kalika calls like they're hitting you up on LinkedIn proposing to you before you've even had a first date. Like
Yeah.
that, no one likes that. No one likes that. So don't, you may be able to help the exact person that you are seeing, but warm them up, let them get to know you before you pitch to them. Because
Yeah.
as we started to talk about the trust recession,
Right.
they need to know that you're a human who cares about them, not just paying you for whatever pain it is that you are resolving for them. Let that trust build.
Yeah. Well, and I think the beautiful thing about Reddit is that the person already asked the question. So you're
Mm.
not inserting yourself into this conversation in an inappropriate way. Like you're legitimately just answering their question that they already asked. They asked
Yeah.
for people to give input on, right? And so you don't have to be like, "I own this company, da 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 da." You just
Right.
say, "Hey, you can do this. Try this technique. Do that." Right? And then let them figure out who you are.
Yep. I love that. I love that. That's actually what I do on socials a lot too, because I'll post things around, like how emotions can be ruling our thoughts, for instance. And so I'm thinking of a post actually I did this weekend, and a couple people commented and they're like, "Oh, this was insightful." It's like, well, what exactly stood out? Because it was like a carousel that had multiple pages, and their
Mhm.
answer was just like, oh, my mind racing right before I go to bed. I'm like, if you want a couple tips, here's a couple in the comment. So just gave 2 tips and I'm like, I'll DM you tomorrow and see how these work for you. And it's
Yeah.
just, and that was a big thing for me because it's like, I want to dive in. I want to fix everything. Like, oh, I don't want your brain to race at night. But it's like, you know what? I can still help you because I know how to get the brain to stop racing because I am a genius at doing that because I've had to do it
Right.
so much for myself and teach other clients how to do this. Like, that's my jam.
Yeah.
And there's kind of some cool tricks to it, but that's going to totally lead me down another avenue. But again, we want to take that, and it doesn't have to be like a ton of time. Like, we're not talking months
Mhm.
of investment. Like, that's not your person if they're going to be going back and forth with you. The person who's ready for you is going to be engaging with you. They're going to be communicating with you. You will see the opening, but also like put yourself in their shoes of like, how would you want your question to be answered? Like, do you want someone coming at you to like sell you something hard, or do you just want a tip?
Yeah. Well, and especially on socials, they're just looking for some tips initially,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's great. Like just giving them some practical advice and hey, I'll check in with you to see how it went. And that's that human connection piece,
Yeah.
right? And then and here's the thing, I don't know if you realize it, but from the psychology standpoint, when you say like I'll check in with you tomorrow, then when they go to bed, they're like, I gotta do that thing because she's gonna check in with me tomorrow, right? Otherwise, you'll be like, "Hey, how'd it go?" And they're like, "Oh, I forgot. I don't know." Right?
Yeah.
So, like, you've preemptively told them, like, "I'm coming back."
Yeah.
And then when you show back up, they're like, "Oh, I have an answer for this now."
Yeah.
So, it's
And I made a note to myself so I didn't forget either.
perfect.
So, yeah, but yeah, I may or may not have known that about, holding people accountable and how to help
Yeah.
them and the stats behind what a difference it makes when someone knows that they're out there cheering for them and like, "Oh, I want you to have a
Mhm.
better night tonight." Like,
I know. For a while, and again, this goes back to like I dropped off the socials again, but like for a while, I was very actively checking in with all these different people, like, and not about marketing, even just like, hey, how's life? Are you good? Right. And
yeah.
so I've formed these friendships with these other business owners, and I know when they're ready for that next step for their business, they're going to come back to me.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think there's just a great element to being a friendly person that comes with being a business owner that will
Mhm.
drastically improve your business versus the person who's like, no, I'm scared of people. I can't talk to anybody. And I know it's hard, but like sometimes it's just a message on a stupid on your phone, right? Like take it or leave it.
Yep. That's where the whole nervous system thing gets in. But gonna go off on a tangent if we go there. This has been super helpful, and I've actually learned a couple of things, so I'm very excited about that. Thank you,
Good.
Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Where can people find you?
So obviously my social media is not the best place because I forget. So my website's a great place to just link up with me and schedule a call to do like an audit, which is totally free. So that is at marketingclarity.net. And then I think I have what is the word? A quiz that will tell you if your website is having an issue from traffic, which is your SEO side, or if it's messaging. And so I believe Katie is putting that in the show notes, correct?
I absolutely will. Yes. So I think you just mentioned the website, marketingclarity.net, and then the quiz. If you want to see why your website isn't bringing you leads, and again, this is going to be in the show notes, join.marketingclarity.net/bringmeleads. Very specific. So you know exactly what it's going to do if you fill out that quiz for Jennifer. Awesome.
Right, perfect.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. And is there any last note that you want to leave the listener with before we wrap, Jennifer?
One of the things that I like to tell people is it doesn't hurt you to get information. Information is free, right? It's what we do with information. So I would say it doesn't hurt you to go fill out the quiz. It takes less than like 2 minutes and it'll give you an idea of a direction for what's going wrong with your website or getting on a call with me. Again, it's free. Like it's just information. And I'm not going to sit and hard pitch you on anything. Like if I'm good fit for you, great. If not, great. Like I just want people to succeed with their business. So
I love
that's
that.
what I would say. But thank you, Katie. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Yes, you too. And to the listener, thank you so much for listening. I know you have your choice of a lot of things out there on the internet to listen to. And I appreciate the fact that you paused, listened to this show, and now you can integrate what Jennifer has taught you in this episode into your life and your business to create more ease, bring in more leads. And like she said, if you don't have any SEO going, today is the day to start. So reach out to Jennifer, see if you're fit, utilize her free call so you can have a conversation with her and you can start to get those leads coming in 3, 6, 12 months from now. Do yourself a favor, act today so that you can start to bring those leads in. Future you will thank you for that. So as always, until next time, please be well. Thanks for being here on the Catapult Effect podcast. If today's episode supported you, share it with another leader who's ready to create more ease in how they build, and leave a review so more heart-led leaders can find these conversations. You don't have to do everything yourself. When the right systems are in place, inside and out, business gets lighter. Until next time, protect your capacity.